Forecasting and budgeting. So why do both? Where do you start? How often do you do it? When do you start? And how do you use it? So let's talk about these particular questions. So the reason that you do budgeting is that you're taking what you know right now, what's happening in your business, and saying, if everything remains the same, then we're going to say next year will look like this year. And that's what you call your baseline budget. So you take that and then you say, is anything going to be different? Am I going to have more business? Let's hope so. Am I going to hire new employees? Am I going to move to a bigger place? Any number of things. So that's what a budget is. And why do you do it? Just so that you can see and monitor each month where you're at and where you maybe need to make a change. So if your business has a significant change in it, let's say all of a sudden you have a great opportunity to bring in more revenue into your business, that's when you do forecasting. Budgeting is at a certain point in time, given known things. What's going to change? So you would up your revenue. Do I need to up my labor? Do I need to do any number of things? And then you project out the rest of the time period, the rest of the year. So you're basically saying, now this is new information than I had before when I did my budget. And I'm going to now forecast out how I think the rest of the year is going to look. So where do you start? So you start with your actuals, then you do your budget, and then your forecasting starts with your budget. So how often do you do it? Well, you would only reforecast a budget, basically, if something significant changed in your business, up or down. And so that wouldn't happen, hopefully, very often. It would be wonderful if you had new business all the time and had to reforecast. That would be great. Or you got a big new contract. But it usually doesn't happen too often. Some people do it quarterly. They'll actually take their actuals and say, okay, this is how the year is going. Now I'm going to forecast the rest of the year. And so they do that in April, and then they do that again in September. They do it, episodically. How do you use it? Your budget is saying, this is what my business was doing last year, and I expect the business to be the same this next year with a few changes. And then you're able to see, are you tracking to what you budgeted? Maybe your expenses are a little bit lower because you found some great ways to save money. Maybe your revenue's up because you got a new contract. So that's how you would use it, to look at the variance between what you thought would happen and what really happened. And then the next step would be to understand those variances. What do they mean? And is there something you need to change in your business for that? And then the forecasting, you use that again to project significant changes in your business to where you know what your year is going to end up. So let's say you did a budget, you did $1 million in gross revenue, and you had a net profit of $50,000. And so you did a budget that said, I'm going to do 1.2 in revenue. And then my profit is going to be $100,000. And then you have a forecast that says, oh, look, I have a new contract. I'm actually going to do $1.5 million. And I'm actually going to not have to make a whole lot of changes in my business. So my bottom line will actually be $250,000. So it helps you to then understand what's really happening in your business. Another reason that you would use a forecast is if you're going to get a loan, because they're going to ask, do you have a business plan? Do you have a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal? You can provide them with a forecast. You can say, here are my actuals. Here's what I budgeted. But look, this is what's really happening. And I think the year will end up. So it can be a really useful tool, not only internally, but externally. Go forth and grow your business.